Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is Eram. Thank you so much for joining this call today. I'm here to talk to you about empathy in product management. But first, a little bit about myself. I love outdoors, I love gardening, and these days I'm also getting into hydroponic systems a little bit. I already harvested a lot of mint, but I'm yet to get my first tomato, and I'm really looking forward to it. Besides this, you can find me practicing mindfulness and yoga during my free time. I also work as a senior product manager at US Bank, where I build solutions that empower business owners to better manage their spend and their employees. Before US Bank, I used to work at Amazon in the logistics industry, and I've also worked with Rivian and Maruti Suzuki India Limited back in India, where I was focused more around building cars. So I've worked in pretty different and diverse industries. With that, let's get started with the topic today, which is empathy. Per dictionary, empathy is ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It's also the action of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another. So I would say empathy actually is a life skill which enables you just to be a better person and improve the world for better. But I think it's super important for product managers just because we can have just so much impact out there in the world. So with that, today's topic, empathy in product management. So I would say if I just carry forward the definition of empathy in product management, it's just not just about understanding your users' needs, but it's also about being able to step in their shoes, walk through their experiences, and understand what it is like to be them, and then building that solution. So let's talk about why empathy is being missed out. So the prime reason that I think PMs may be missing out on empathy would be, according to me, would be two reasons. So one would be systemic, other could be skill gap. I think when I talk about systemic reasons, I would say that as PMs, you may be focused on way too many things. So while solving for technical and business based problems, you may be losing track of this soft skill, empathy based metrics, because empathy is not very easy to measure. So it's just easy to lose track of as well. And the second one is organizational culture that prioritizes speed, efficiency, and short-term results over empathy and user-centric approach. What I mean by that is basically if your organization has a lot of pressure to ship fast, you may be just losing track of this very important aspect of product management. Another reason why PMs may be missing out on this would be skill gap. So empathy is a soft skill. It's not often taught in your school, and nobody effectively teaches you how to be empathetic. So you may be missing out on this as well. So later in this presentation, I'll cover how we can address gaps for all. But I just wanted to highlight like why we may be missing out on empathy. So let's talk about some products which I feel are a good example of empathy. The first one here is Patagonia. I want to talk about Patagonia is if you don't know about Patagonia, actually it's an outdoor apparel and gear company that not just focuses on making good quality and reliable gear, but also demonstrates empathy through its commitment to environmental sustainability and social responsibility. So when I talk about environmental sustainability, actually this picture is a really good example. This is part of their One Wear program. So this is a repaired and revived down jacket that Patagonia gave a second life to through this program. Patagonia basically promotes a culture of sustainability and longevity, which encourages customers to repair, reuse, and recycle their clothing and gear. This program offers repair services, sells quality used gears, and educates customers about benefits of extending life of their products. This demonstrates empathy towards customers by empowering them to make environmentally conscious choices and reducing waste. So that is one of the reasons. And the second reason, which I've noted down here, is in terms of social responsibility, Patagonia also has a lot of fair labor practices. So, for example, the company partners with suppliers that uphold ethical standards and provide fair wages, safe working conditions and benefits to their employees. So these are the two reasons actually feel I feel that Patagonia is a really very empathetic company, and all their efforts are driven by their need of care for their people and for the environment. Second example that I have here is Headspace. So Headspace is a mental health and well-being app which has the series of meditation practices that a user can take. I think Headspace demonstrates empathy towards user in multiple ways. Their whole mission and vision is to improve mental health of people. As you can see in this image, Headspace is a very user-centric design. They have a great personalization where the app can show you content based on your time of day. It can track your progress, your preferences, and your goals. And they also have pretty cool, amazing widgets. Like if I see a widget during a day, it would give me some prompt for like morning meditation, and in night it would give me a prompt for like sleep meditation and whatnot. They have a huge focus on accessibility and being inclusive. So their meditation sessions are like very inclusive. They have content for all ages, for all backgrounds, for all experiences. Beyond all of this, Headspace also fosters a culture of community and connection amongst users through features like group meditations, challenges, and forums. So, by providing the opportunity for users to connect with each other and share their experiences, Headspace is creating a supportive and encouraging environment that enhances motivation and accountability for its users. So, that is my reason I love Headspace. So let's talk about why we need empathy back in PM space. There are a number of areas that PMs need to be empathetic in. The first one is towards their customers. So one thing that I want to highlight is I know we talk about understanding customer needs. I think we need to take a step back and go beyond that. So not just understanding your customer needs, but placing yourself in their shoes, taking a walk in those shoes and understanding what it is like. So when you create those personas, like just try to not think about the persona as a persona, but more about if that persona were you. So go beyond their age, go beyond their gender, go beyond their location, think about their daily routine, think about challenges they may be facing on a day to day. Think about how do they interact with not just your technology, but other technologies that they use. Note down their frustrations, note down things that they do not say or speak about loud. Just try to put yourself in their shoes and then understand their life and what it is like to live in their lives. This would give you a broader perspective of how your product basically connects dots between different products and how other products may be impacting your product. So it's just very important to have that bigger picture view and understanding overall experience that your customer might be facing. This would help you like build better products that would really resonate with your customer. The next area that I feel that empathy is really important is environment. So I would say that empathy empowers you to think beyond your direct users and focus on entire product life cycle of your product. It could enable you to think about environmental and social impacts of your product and help set goals accordingly and build ethical products. One example that I can give from my real life would be while I was working at Amazon, I was helping them um, optimize truckload solutions, making sure that each truck is probably going at its highest efficiency and is able to, and we are able to like minimize the number of trucks that are going out in a day. So I helped actually think of the solution not just from the dollar value perspective, but also from the environmental perspective. If we are sending out fewer trucks in a day, we are definitely like not just saving on money, but we are also like thinking about the environment. And I took that solution back to its root, where I like also thought about how we could improve packaging and how we could like merge more number of items in a packet, or like just fill these packages better inside a truck. It was a lot detailed problem, but what I'm trying to say here is sometimes we may not realize, but we do have a lot of impact on the environment, and we do have a responsibility to be empathetic towards environment, towards broader ecosystem that we live in. Third one here is towards your team members. One thing that I want to highlight on this one is that as PMs, I think we work closely with a lot of team members, especially if I'm talking about a Scrum team. You may be working with a designer, with an engineer, And in engineering also, you may be working with a front end and a back end engineer. So being empathetic towards different roles just means, again, being able to walk in their shoes. So what would an engineer want? Just if I have to step into shoes of an engineer, I would think giving them detailed requirements, giving them clear requirements, and being clear in what I am expecting them to build is being empathetic and kind towards themselves. So similarly, I can think about other roles as well, but empathy basically empowers you to empower other people and just be there for them when they need you. So going line by line here, be vulnerable and ask for help when needed, and set an example that your team members can do. So I think this is a very important leadership quality, that if a leader is vulnerable and if they're asking for help when needed, it sets an example for other team members as well. So I specifically practice this a lot with my team, where I'm never hesitant to ask for their help, and it just means that they can ask for my help as well. It just helps us build a more collaborative culture. It also helps them to be themselves. They don't have to fear speaking up, and it just creates a sense of psychological safety, which is very important for an effective workplace. If you're empathetic, you can also give kind and yet tough feedback. You don't need to always say good things to people. You can give feedback that can help them grow. All of this basically helps you establish trust and set a better culture of shared responsibilities. So I would say empathy towards your team members is also as important as the ones that we spoke about before. The last one here that I want to talk about is empathy towards your stakeholders. This is similar to team members, but when I say stakeholders, I basically mean these people from different domains that you don't understand all of their jobs. For example, legal people or people from compliance, but you still rely on them to get approvals, or your product can't launch without their sign off. So it's super important to understand what needs do they have, what motivations do they have, so that you could pitch your product accordingly. You could understand their concerns and take specific actions to solve for those concerns. You could present and tailor your messaging and communication strategies accordingly. You could negotiate better with them if in case you have a conflict somewhere. So with that, these are the focus areas that I think we need to bring empathy back to in product management. So next, let's talk about how we could build empathy as a habit. There are a lot of ways that we could tackle this one. Let's take this one by one. So, if you recall, I had highlighted that the reason we do not have empathy in product management in some places is twofold. One could be systemic and one could be skill gap. So, I wanted to address these in twofold here as well. So, systemic, you could set mechanisms like user journey mapping, detailed empathy mapping. These templates are readily available online. You could look at them, what they mean. But if an organization is able to foresight some of these mechanisms, it would really help. Like one of the examples I can give is when I was at Amazon. It greatly, I think when I started, I was very hesitant in writing those 6 pagers or like writing those detailed notes. But now I can't think about anything beyond that. Like I found it really hard to make this presentation actually, just because it was in my habit to write those detailed papers. Actually, I still have my notes on the side. So I would say it's just if at the system level you're able to set mechanisms that force people to be empathetic or that force people to think about empathy, it just helps at that process. And hiring, I would say hiring is also super important. If you are able to hire people from different backgrounds more often than not have different perspectives, and it just helps to hear other people talk about their perspectives, their struggles, and whatnot. And in product management, I think is specifically important because we could often get so biased towards building something for one customer persona and not thinking about the edge cases. Next, I want to talk about upskills. So how can you upskill or gain the skill for empathy? So, empathy training and use of technology these days. When I spoke about stepping into customers' shoes, I actually read this online and I've attached that in the helpful resources later on as well. So basically, this person wrote this article and they mentioned about use of different technologies like AR and VR, where you could actually step into shoes of customers. So using VR to think about what the physical space of this customer may look like and understanding what is walking in their shoes is, would inculcate this empathy as a habit. Second one here is practicing active listening. I think this is super important. I think in my life, I think I have gained more by staying silent than talking. So if you're able to stay silent, you will just force more people to speak up and talk, share their perspectives. And force is not the right word actually. So if you're able to, if you're able to stay silent, you just motivate other people to speak up, share more concerns, and just share their thoughts, how they're feeling, what motivates them, does not motivate them, etc. Third one, being vulnerable and expressing yourself. This goes back to being vulnerable with your team members, but it could be applied to even customers. If you share your pain points with your customers, I'm sure they will also speak up. The most important connection there is human to human connection, and we need to just build on that here. And examining your biases, being willing to learn and unlearn and learn again. There are a lot of things that we learned as children or as adults, but things are changing every day. So this is a very important skill that we need to examine our biases. We need to ensure that like we are up to date of what's happening around us. And I think all of us have a shared responsibility to be responsible and just take actions for things that are happening around us, change our perspectives on things that we thought earlier were good or bad. So with that, I have also attached some helpful resources here, and given credit to some of the people that I used some content from. And with that, I would like to close this presentation. I really appreciate you all joining and hope this was helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will also share my personal details in the chat here. Thank you so much. Have a great day.